Hi friends! We are going to meet one of our fellow ballroom dance friends today. So I'd like to introduce you to Ray.
Hello.
And we're just going to learn a little bit more about him and his life in ballroom dance. So firstly, what do you do for a living?
I'm a physician.
A doctor. What kind of doctor?
I'm a radiation oncologist.
Radiation oncologist. And I think he's single, ladies. And then how old were you when you started dancing?
Oh my God. I'm probably 23. It was a long time ago.
And what got you into that?
My girlfriend. Yeah, so basically she started on the dance team and I was interested in her. Da-da-da.
Well played. And so, have you ever competed?
Yes.
And then at what levels?
I did pre-champ standard.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did you just start out in pre-champ or did you work your way up through?
Oh yeah. I mean from like newcomer to like bronze to pre-champ.
And then, so what parts of, did you just compete locally or out of state or internationally? Where did you?
Locally, yeah.
Locally?
So I learned ballroom dancing in Boston in the Northeast. So basically, mostly just collegiate competitions actually, and then like a smattering of adult competitions.
Mm-hmm. And then what got you into competition?
Well, way back when I was a young man, basically, yeah, I was very competitive.
And then, how many dance partners have you had over the years?
A few. A few.
Okay, so like 3 or 10?
Maybe 10.
10, okay.
Yeah.
And I can tell you guys, at least in the United States, partners do rotate quite a bit at the collegiate level. And as I've shared in previous levels, I highly recommend if you can get into that circuit. It's inexpensive. It's very partner friendly. You'll have an easier time just finding new partners for each comp. So I really like that circuit. And then, have you ever done prom or did you just do amateur?
No, I just did amateur.
Uh-huh. And then, what was the biggest challenge that you think you've had in competing?
I'm short.
Short, okay. And guys, I have news for you. People look a lot taller on TV and on YouTube than they are in person when they are championship level dancers because they have full body extension. And they tend to be lean as well. Before I started taking with my coaches, and as you know, Katusha Demidova, who is the reigning 10-time world champion in standard, was my primary. Before I met her, I'd seen her at the Ohio Star Ball on PBS, and I thought the woman was like 6'2". She was huge. She's shorter than me in person. Likewise, I ran into someone at the elevator at Snowball years ago when I was competing, and they're like, "You're Sunny Page," and I was like, "Yeah." And they go, you're shorter than I thought." Like they were disappointed. So once you become a little bit more of a skilled dancer, you'll be able to extend your back line and such and give the illusion that you're tall. In fact, there's not a lot of really high level tall couples because it's really hard on their joints, just carrying around that extra weight. And fat and little dancers, meaning short, also to get that maximum extension, you can get there faster because they have less distance to cover. And so they get a lot more light and shade in their dancing than a big couple that's got to go this far every single step. Very difficult to shape that. And so what advice do you have for dancers that might be interested in competing?
I would say just don't try not to lose focus on having fun, and like don't focus on the results. Just try to remember to have fun if you can.
Yeah. I think it's always funner to win than lose, but
yeah,
it doesn't mean that it has to suck if you don't place where you want. There's only one couple that wins each time, and everyone else does not have to feel like a failure, okay? There's generally someone who plays behind you that just dreams that they were you. So take the victories and look at the long haul, and if you're progressing, overall. And so do you have a favorite style?
International foxtrot.
Okay. And then have you competed in Latin or American or just international standard?
Yeah, pretty much just international standard, yeah.
And then what do you enjoy about foxtrot?
The music and the feel. Like if you and your partner can get in sync, yeah, it feels very, very nice. Yeah.
And guys, I still remember the very, very first time I did an international foxtrot. As you might know, I started in American style. I did that for, 4 years, 5 years until I switched to international. And I was at a social dance and someone just led me through a feather and three for that song. And I thought I had died and gone to heaven. It felt so good. We got off the floor and I was like, what is that you just did to me? And I must feel that again. It was amazing. I know foxtrot is a real bear to learn. And every dancer I know thinks that's the hardest one, but oh man, it feels so good when you nail it. Oh my gosh, and once you nail it, it becomes muscle memory. It'll happen on autopilot. It'll be your favorite too. So do you social dance too?
Yeah.
And about how often?
I would say like 3 or 4 times a week.
Mm-hmm. And then how often were you able to compete in Boston? It's kind of a dance center. I imagine you had more opportunity than many places.
Yeah, I mean, it was a long time ago. So I would say, perhaps once every 1 to 2 months.
Okay. And then do you take private lessons or group classes over the years?
Both, yeah.
Okay. And about how many teachers would you say you've taken with over your dance career? And then with no names, can you describe kind of what your least favorite teacher, how they taught that made that difficult for you?
Well, my first teacher, I had a love-hate relationship with him. He was very, very good. He was old school Eastern European. That kind of
so like a harsh personality type?
To the guys. He was very, very kind to the ladies. The ladies could do no wrong. And so and of course the ladies loved him, and the guys hated him. But he was good. He was really good.
Yeah, and I have noticed that, guys, the American, the British, the Australian, Asian coaches, they're all much more soft-handed in their approach to criticizing and helping. Don't take it personally, if your like Eastern European or Russian teacher just goes ape on you. Obviously,
it's for your own good.
Yeah, it is. Now, obviously, if you find that is stressful for you and impedes your learning, just book with someone else. There are other options. Not all dance teachers are like that. They come in many forms. But if you respond to that, like really immediate, very clear feedback, that might be a good match for you. And so, do you practice?
Yes.
And then do you practice alone or with a partner?
I prefer to practice with a partner. It's a partner dance, so there's just stuff that you just can't do alone.
And I get questions from follows all the time looking for a lead partner. In the amateur world, there's more, honestly, follows looking for partners than leads. I didn't find that in the pro world. But anyway, how did you find those partners? And then what makes a desirable partner for you?
I found them social dancing, basically. And we would dance a couple dances socially, and then it would go from there. And then in terms of desirability, someone I can work with, basically. Yeah.
So what would someone you can't work with look like?
I guess, so I had an ex. I had an ex who would not take any of my suggestions. And I'm not a pro, right? But I do know a little bit. But yeah, but she wouldn't take any of my suggestions. So yeah, I can't work with that.
Yeah. And ladies, I find honestly more important than finding the partner is keeping the partner. And I do see, I don't know why, but especially many ladies, once they get the partner, they kind of take them for granted. And it is a partnership. Sometimes you have to lose the battle to win the war. And even if you're not, it feels bad what they're asking for, you know what? Just throw them a bone. And then in the lesson, when you have the,
Authority.
right, the unbiased third party, who actually is probably gonna have a more accurate answer anyway, intervene on your behalf, okay? So that's my 2 cents on that. And so, do you ever practice alone?
Yes, yeah, I do.
Is that in a studio or your house or?
Actually, currently I practice in the climbing gym of all places because they have a very nice yoga studio with mirrors and a very nice wooden floor.
Yeah, sometimes practice space is very difficult to come by, especially in Europe. In England, I don't think I've ever found a place over there that you can just show up as a couple and practice unless you show up to rounds at Cheam or something. And follows and leads. Ray just caught onto something that's really important. If you are looking for a partner, please go to social dances and go to group classes. You get to test drive the merchandise. You get to see right off the bat if they have a creepy personality. You don't have that pressure of let's set up a tryout and then it's not going to work out. I don't like you. Like it's the best way, in my opinion, to find a comp partner. Okay, and so can you describe your favorite type of private lesson? Like how the teacher teaches, or?
Yeah, I mean, I think that I like teachers that can tell me technically what I'm doing wrong and show me what I'm doing wrong. So I need to, most importantly, feel it and then understand it on an intellectual level.
Mm-hmm. And then, what's your favorite type of group class other than just showing up to test drive the merchandise?
I again just prefer any group class where it's mostly dependent on the teacher, right? So if he or she is very technically sound and then can convey that to the class, that's great. I mean, that's my favorite kind of class.
Mm-hmm. Guys, even I like taking group classes in styles I'm unfamiliar with, like hip hop. Just keeps me literally on my toes, because sometimes we can, in our physical movement, get in a little bit in a rut or a habit, and it helps you stay out of those and continue refining your balance and such. Also, for me as a teacher, it gives me, in my opinion, a little more empathy for my students, because you kind of forget, oh, that's right, I struggle with this exact same stuff, and it's very difficult to change autopilot. Have you taken lessons in independent studios and chain studios?
Independent.
And then what do you like about that?
I think, I've heard that at the chain studios that you get pressured into, doing, multiple styles, maybe styles you don't want to do, and then you have to go on like a strict progression. So that's what I've heard. I haven't actually.
Okay, so freedom of choice and then speed of growing and improving. That's very consistent with what I've heard. And then, what's your favorite thing about ballroom dancing?
The music. I love the music.
Do you listen to it at home and stuff, or just at the studio?
Sometimes I listen to it, at home, especially foxtrots. Well, foxtrots are like American songbook, right? So, like, I would say maybe a third of American songbook you can dance a foxtrot to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do the same thing. I love ballroom music. As a matter of fact, when I started competing, I first did Latin only because that's what my partner wanted to do. But when I had a vision, when I started ballroom dancing, like I thought of, I didn't know at that time, but international standard, like a gown and, you know, kind of that old school 50s music. And yeah, I love it. Do you have any hobbies besides ballroom dancing, Ray?
I climb.
Oh, rock climbing. Okay, that's why you go with the rock climbing gym. Okay.
Yep.
To practice. Excellent. And then, final question for you. Do you have any long-term goals in ballroom dance?
I think, I'm old, so don't have any competition goals. But yeah, I mean, I think I just want to improve my technique and connection to my partner as much as I can, and improve how the dancing feels as much as I can, to the extent that I can.
Yeah. And for the record, guys, Ray is not old. And secondly, even if he were, I thought, especially with the international standard, I have danced with former world champions that are old. And if you shut your eyes, it feels like they are a young athlete, very balanced, very strong, very flexible. And I do feel this is a great benefit of ballroom dance in terms of just maintaining your health in that way. And I also love that it is a style of dance you can do until you're 110 years old. I love that. I've always loved dancing. And I would say the number 1 or 2 reason that kind of sucked me in was I want to dance my whole life. If I go down this ballet bunny hole, I'm going to be out of here in 5 years and age out. And it's something that you can always enjoy and improve on regardless of age. So thank you so much for being brave enough to show up on my YouTube channel. And let's show Ray some love in the comments, because I really appreciate that he was willing to share a story with us. So thanks for joining us. Bye, guys.